Hello, this is Mel Thompson, and this is a podcast in a series of podcasts about political risk. Today I'll be discussing a deal that has multiple ramifications for many industries, and the deal is between Shell and Saudi Aramco. They're going to be splitting assets. Now, Royal Dutch Shell and the Saudi Arabian Oil Company, also known as Aramco, are set to split up assets, and the assets pertain to a joint venture in the U.S. The full ownership is going to now be in the hands of the Saudi Arabian government. This is going to be the ownership of America's largest oil refinery. So let's just put that in perspective. This refinery is in Texas, and it produces about 603 million barrels of oil a day. So when you start looking at the overall problems that a potential problem with the refinery could cause, you need to start planning how to mitigate the issue of transportation and supply chain issues when it comes to just getting fuel. This is not a small refinery. It is not a small deal. And the ripples of it go far, far beyond what is already happening between the two main players in this case. And let me take one step back and correct a misquote. I do believe it's 603,000 barrels of oil a day, not million. Having said that, let's move on to the fact that this is a very, very important oil refinery that can impact markets. And markets will raise the cost by being in trouble, by having uncertainty, and cost does impact your supply chains and transportation costs as far as moving supplies and goods, and also even being involved in markets when it comes to purchasing new equipment. If you're a foreign direct investor and you're looking to get items that are required for your project in another country, and they need to have some degree of other parts added, that creates a supply chain, and therefore there needs to be some degree of transportation. At some point, it is very possible, not guaranteed, but it's possible that the oil from this refinery may play some role in getting your goods and services on a ship to another country. Whenever you have a refinery or a organization or a group of organizations as large as this with that type of production, you need to look at it as a long-term political risk, in the sense that you don't know if it's going to be well run, how it's going to be run, if it's going to be the same, better, worse, and if you can find out what the level of input as far as production is into your own region, your own area, when it comes to filling up the trucks and the cars and any other supply of petroleum-based products that are part of your supply chain, it'd be very, very wise to do. Doing due diligence in this respect and getting as complete a picture of it as possible is very, very important. It's kind of odd to many people that I kind of single out this one refinery and talk about it in a much global fashion, but it's a very large refinery, and this is just an example of what could happen with one particular grouping of producers. This could be anywhere. This could happen in Russia. This could happen in any other country on earth where a large corporation or a large producer of some type of product that has some degree of input into all types of different supply chains is then moved over to one owner, and then that owner has either a fantastic run or they have a bad run. You're not going to know for a while, and the uncertainty of that is what you should be planning for. Plan for slowdowns in supply chains. Plan for transportation costs being increased. These are all political risks that come from the fact that this is a regulated industry that has now been allowed to move forward as far as consolidating the assets. The assets are going to be transferred, and if it was not regulated, then you would not have to worry about it, because you wouldn't even know really exactly what the true ownership of this is. Now that the deal is being done, it's being sealed, it's across borders, it's across oceans. This is something you need to pay attention to. What is the economic impact upon Saudi Arabia? What is the economic impact upon Shell Oil, Royal Dutch Shell? What is the economic impact upon the area that that refinery is located in, which is Port Arthur, Texas? The overall impact, economic impact of this one deal has many, many ripple effects over many, many areas of the globe. It is not just Port Arthur. It is many other places, and you need to understand that. And if you don't understand that, then a true political risk analysis of deals like this anywhere on the globe can never be done properly. Every large deal like this that comes to light, when you start talking about regulated industries, oil, which oil is, any of these types of deals need to be paid attention to, even if you're in the business of producing widgets that are wooden, that are hand carved by by people who are just sitting there in a shed somewhere in the middle of nowhere, who are very good at carving widgets. Well, there's no oil involved. They're sitting in the dark. There's no oil involved. It doesn't really matter. At some point, they need to be shipped, and shipping involves oil and involves gasoline in many cases in some way, shape, or form. What you need to understand is that deals like this impact markets. Markets in other areas are impacted by deals like this, and it may impact your deal as a foreign direct investor or a company globally. So do not ignore news and information, and always apply what you learn and understand that you can glean from news and information to the totality of all political risk analysis. It is very, very important to do. This has been Mel Thompson.